Okay, so I created a Google Doc to kind of just write down my thoughts on this, just to kind of organize everything and kind of tackle each point one by one. I just wrote down, my thoughts, questions that I have, and my plan is to just at least have this so I know, I have like some sort of plan. I don't want to just randomly go about this without, any sort of structure to this. I want to start a money lending business, lend my money to someone safely and get the money paid back plus interest after a period of time. So basically, this is the ideal idea that I have, that I want to start. But here are some of the problems that I came across while thinking about it. Number one, I don't know how to start. Number two, I don't know whether or not this is even like legal, is if this is even possible to do, especially where I'm at, like in California. Is this legal? I could probably figure this out pretty easily, but I haven't looked into it yet, so I don't know. So I wrote it down. I mean, if not, this whole thing is going to be scratched. So I should look at this first. Another problem is, how am I going to find people that are willing to take my money and pay me that money back plus interest, and do it in a safe way, like I said. How am I going to find trustworthy people, trustworthy clients to kind of do this? I'm assuming there's going to be like contracts, some kind of screening that I'm going to have to do. But yeah, this is something that I don't know. So I wrote it down. Following up with that, is there a platform that can kind of do all of this for me? Or do I have to create everything myself? Or is there like a platform that just kind of has everything set up and, you know, that can do all of this for me? I don't know. I'm going to have to look it up. So yeah, this is something that I wrote. And pretty much probably the biggest problem that, I'm coming across with this whole thing is how to deal with defaults. What if I lend the money and they don't pay me back? What can I do about it? Is there anything I could do about it? How would I deal with it? What can I do to prevent this as much as possible? Is it even possible to prevent this? If not, does the risk outweigh the rewards? So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to spend the most time looking into this. Everything else, I feel like I can find the answer to or relatively easily. This, I have a feeling that I'm gonna have to do a lot of thinking and research on, because yeah, I can't think of a way. Like what if they just don't pay me back? What can I do about that? But yeah, I'm gonna look into it. So that's pretty much what I'm gonna do today. But before I actually get into like the research, I wanted to kind of list everything. I didn't want to just like go into the research blindly. I wanted to have like some sort of topic or plan. What are the risks? What's kind of keeping me from starting? I feel like once I can tackle this and get comfortable enough to know that, the people that, I find are going to pay me back, I feel like this should go pretty smoothly. And then say I can figure out the above, how much money am I willing to invest in this? Again, I don't think this is that big of an issue, but I just wrote it down. And then can I borrow money and use that to invest? So that's also an idea that I had. Instead of using my own money, can I just borrow money from someone else and then use that to, lend to someone else? Just charge more interest than I'm paying, if that makes sense. But yeah, again, these two aren't really that big of topics. I'm more concerned about like everything up here. But yeah, I just kind of wrote down, this is pretty much everything that's just, I guess, keeping me from starting. So yeah, I'm gonna spend some time to do the research. Okay, so I went on ChatGPT and I kind of just typed this just because I was curious. I wrote, I want to lend money to strangers and get paid interest. I want to do it safely and with low amounts. How can I start? And apparently, it's called this form of earning interest is called peer-to-peer lending, P2P lending. And there are some platforms that are regulated that I can use. So yeah, I've been kind of just I briefly just kind of looked through this. I haven't actually went on any of these websites, but I'm gonna take a look. So apparently there are platforms that kind of do this whole thing. And it's a pretty low entry. It's giving me some tips as well, like to start with low amounts, obviously, understand risk, yeah, defaults. So I don't, even with platforms, again, I don't think there are ways to completely stop defaults from happening. I think that's inevitable. It's just, is the default rate gonna be lower than the rate you make through your interest. Apparently there's like auto invest tools. Yeah, understand legal. So I think this is legal. It's just I'm gonna have to be careful how I report it. Okay, so some platforms offer buyback guarantees. Again, I'm gonna have to do research on all these different platforms and find one that works. So yeah, I thought I would have to like create a system myself, you know. But apparently there's, I mean, if there is a good platform, then obviously I'll just use that. Secondary markets to sell your loans. What does that mean? Monitor and reinvest, obviously. Avoid lending to strangers outside platforms. Start slow. Yep. Be cautious of platforms promising high returns. Makes sense. And then they asked me like if they want me to, or if they need help picking a platform based on my location. And I wrote yes, something that is beginner friendly and available in California. And it gave me like 3 different platforms. So I'm gonna take a look at these. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at these 2 platforms because it looks like this third one doesn't offer any interest. Then why would anyone lend? Is it because it's a non-profit? People just lend just cause? Oh wow. Okay, that's cool, but I'm not interested in that. So I'll take a look at these and then also like some of the platforms mentioned here. And I think that's a good starting point. ChatGPT is pretty cool how, you know, quickly it can give, this information. Let me ask real quick if this is legal. Is this model even legal in California? Okay, so it's legal, but it's regulated. So I guess I should just look for platforms that are licensed. Okay, so unless I'm using a platform, it looks like I'm not even allowed to lend to strangers directly without some sort of licensing. Good to know. So that kind of answers this. Is this possible? Yes. But if I'm doing it outside the platform, I may need a license. Okay, I think this is a good start. I think for today, my goal is to try to find a good, solid platform that kind of just gives me what I want. I want pretty much a platform that's regulated, reputable, has a lot of people in it. Maybe it's one that offers some sort of like guarantee when you're lending or some sort of protection. I think it was mentioned somewhere earlier, like a buyback guarantee in case the borrower does default, meaning like a platform that protects the lender. I think that would be an ideal platform. I'm not really too concerned about like the rates or anything like that. I'm just right now I just want to like test it out. Like even if it's just like one loan, I want to just like try it, go through the process, sign up, try it out, and like see if this even works, before I actually move on to, even trying to scale it or like, do it consistently or, up the scale at all. I just want to do one transaction, kind of go through the process, see how it's like, and then kind of go from there. So I think for today, this should be good. For today, the goal is to find a platform. So find a good platform. I'm going to do the research for all of these, try to find some more, and then just kind of go through every single platform, go through the pros and cons of each, and then kind of find one that just fits what I'm looking for. And I think, yeah, that should be good enough as a start. And then, yeah, we'll see how this goes.